They've defied all odds. We all know how weird it is that they're still together after high school. I mean, how does that ever happen? And they also got through the Marine Corps together. You know, that's a pretty big accomplishment too. They've really defied all the odds. If I could ask you guys all to raise a glass and celebrate Grace and Clay Bornowski. And may they love each other every day, and may they continue to defy all the odds and continue to find themselves through each other.
We've known Clay since the kids were in grade school.
Okay, Clay, don't freak out.
The Bornowskis live maybe 3 or 4 blocks from our house. The kids rode their bikes to school, back when you allowed kids to do such things.
How are you doing?
Good. Ooh, I just made your lips so pink. Hi. Check her out. You got it?
My heart's like doing crazy things.
Yay. Hi. I love you.
Their friendship grew from kindergarten through high school, and their courtship began literally days after they were elected to Edina High School's snow court. And then a few months later, Grace went off to college, and Clay literally went off to war. It would have been so easy for them to end their relationship during the 4 years Grace attended Mizzou and Clay was serving in the Marines. But instead, they both used those 4 years to flourish as individuals, and their commitment to each other only deepened further. Today, I must admit, I am the proudest father in the world to have accompanied Grace down the aisle tonight. I think you'll all agree that she was stunning. Both Sharice and I are incredibly proud of the young woman that Grace has become, and we are delighted that she's found her best friend and her soulmate and her lifelong partner in Clay. A few words about Clay. Clay is loyal, and he is a man true to his word. Both Sharice and I know that he is madly in love with our daughter, and he will honor and respect her all the days of their lives.
Grace and Clay, who would have thought that when you first met in kindergarten, 18 years ago, that you'd be standing here today getting ready to get married? And I think what I found most ironic about your story is that on another cold February day back in 2010, when your relationship officially started, is when your peers at Edina High School nominated you both to be on snow court. Fate stepped in that day when you were paired up to walk down that aisle in your high school's auditorium, when you took center stage, and when you attended the Sweethearts Dance that evening. And from that day on, you've spent many hours apart and together building this beautiful friendship that has endured a tremendous amount of growth and change. And so here we are today. You're elevating this amazing relationship, all these amazing experiences to marriage, which symbolizes the ultimate expression of love between two people.
But growing up with Grace, I've seen her in all points of life. I've seen her when she's sad. I've seen her when she's strong and happy. I'm going to start crying soon. To me, I know two Graces. I know the Grace before Clay and the Grace after Clay. Here we go. So I will start with before. During the years before Grace's senior year, Grace was always kind, loving, and compassionate, and of course, the greatest sister I could ever ask for. But like any sisters, we did have our moments. If you think it's impossible not to love Grace, come find me and I'll tell you lots of stories. For example, Grace does not like the way I tie my shoes. If you know how I tie my shoes, I do the whole bunny ear thing. She doesn't see that as a just way to tie your shoes. So not only did she tell my whole grade that I don't know how to tie my shoes as a 15, 14-year-old, she also told everyone I was a boy. There's still a little salt around me, like I'm still pretty salty about it. But there's also times when there's no one easier in the world to love than my sister, and I'm sure Clay knows that, and I'm sure we all know that. So this kind of brings us to after. The Grace I know now is no different than the girl I knew then, except for a few things. My sister now goes into everything with passion and with a full heart, regardless of whether it was her work or with her relationships. Clay has helped my sister become the strong woman she's always wanted to be, and regardless of whether or not my sister told me that's who she wanted to be, I just kind of know. So, we've seen before, we've seen after, and now we're here.
To their feet and help me welcome for the second time, Mr. and Mrs. Clay Bornowski.
We've been through so much, from school, deployments, every aspect of a long-distance relationship that could ever be imagined. Both of us living opposite sides of the world, staying connected from afar. I know that because of these struggles, we can endure any hardship because we've proved it to each other over and over again. And so now, always and forever, I vow to listen to you, to hear your every word, to support you in every endeavor that you choose to pursue, to love you unconditionally, and finally, I vow to be your best friend.
Grace would send letters to Clay what seemed like every single day while we were at boot camp. And just as frequently, while Clay was punching the enemy in Afghanistan or sitting in boredom on ship, he was always receiving that love coming from Grace and that back home. To me, that's a perfect example of how devoted and committed they are to each other. Facing adversity and rarely seeing each other or hearing each other is a true test of love.
I first knew that I loved you when you showed up at my graduation from basic training. I felt like I didn't deserve to be with you, but there you were, just for me. You dropped everything you were doing just to come see me, and that meant so much. I've always felt that I wanted to have a family with you. I knew that you'd make a wonderful and caring mother, just as your mother has. You always inspire me to be a better person, and you help me see the good in the world. If I didn't have you, my life would have almost no meaning to it. I cannot wait to see what's in store for us. I'm so happy that we'll be together in all of our new adventures.
The bond of marriage will strengthen your love as a couple and as individuals. It is both strong and fragile, and you both know this because you've seen it in your own parents. You are both so fortunate to come from strong family units to witness this kind of love. You see, combined, both parents, David and Linda, and David and Charisse have nearly 50 years of marriage under their belts.
Clay. I can't remember when I didn't have a huge crush on you. You were my TA in Miss Town's drawing and painting class, and I would get so excited whenever I would see you. Although you were oftentimes late to class, and I am usually pretty timely, I was confident that that was the only flaw that I could come up with. When February rolled around and we were both chosen to be on snow court, I was crossing my fingers that we would be paired up for coronation. I guess I crossed them hard enough because soon after, we were a couple and the rest is history. When you headed to boot camp shortly after we graduated and I headed off to Mizzou, I was worried we wouldn't make it. The distance that I felt from you when you were serving overseas was incredibly hard, but your parents took me under their wings, which is something I will always be thankful for. We survived it all, and I knew there would be no turning back. The love I felt for not only you, but your family was a feeling I knew I would never want to let go. Now I don't have to. Thank God. I cannot wait to be your wife, a mother to our children, and a friend that will always be by your side no matter what. I cannot wait to grow old with you, take care of you, and continue to learn, travel, when we can afford it, love, and fall even more in love with you. I am the luckiest person in the world to have met you, have you as a husband, and forever be yours, Philip.
Grace, do you promise Clay that from this day onward you will stand with him in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, and do you pledge to him your respect and love?
I do.
And Clay, do you promise Grace that from this day onward you will stand with her in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, and do you pledge to her your respect and love?
I do.
And so I'd like to say congratulations, Grace. Congratulations, Clay. The real fun is just beginning, trust me. Let's take things up a notch since you last met on stage in 2010 on that cold February day, so you can join one another for the sweetheart stance of your lives.